Yo, what is good, YouTuber? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we're going to be ranking the best free cards in NBA 2K24 MyTEAM here on this tier list. Before we hop into the video, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 17,000 subscriber mark on the channel. First day of January, I'm actually trying to hit 18K by the end of January. I think it's possible. It's a little bit of a stretch goal. It's like 1.6K subscribers-ish over the next month. So definitely not going to be an easy goal to hit, but I would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe so y'all can help me work towards that goal. We'll see if we're able to do it in the month of January, but only got about like 23 cards on this list. There just simply are not that many viable and valid free cards in the game. I will say, with that being said, there are some truly elite ones who are top tier cards in the game for free. I just don't think the depth is there of the free cards, which is why we only have 23 cards on this list. But starting off with Pau Gasol, who I think is really mid, is the all-time domination reward. They did give him an Evo at the beginning of the season that made Pau a more viable card for sure. He is now a 94 overall diamond with his Evo, but he still doesn't have incredible speed. He's a good defender with Hoff, post-lockdown, rebound chaser, and box out beast, but not insane on the defensive end of the court. Still not ridiculously complete. He's a decent slasher, but not insane. Pretty good shooter, but release timing on slow hurts him, and he doesn't give you anything as a playmaker. He's a pretty meh card at the center spot, but he's better than some of the guys who are going to go in D tier, such as this Bill Russell. Now, the only reason I included Bill Russell, honestly, and some of the other Tis the Season agenda players from this season is because they're recent. Because this Bill Russell card is an inside big, but he's a small inside big who's not crazy athletic and isn't able to put the ball on the floor and do much shot creation. Like, this Amethyst Bill Russell is just a really mediocre card. Obviously, absolute NBA legend, one of the greatest players of all time. Rest in peace to a legend, but he's not insane as an overall card in my team. Pretty good defensively, but offensively, he's a net zero. Can't shoot at all. Doesn't give you any sort of shot creation. Not elite defensively. Not elite as an athlete. Just not incredible offensively at all. Chet Holmgren is S tier, easily. I think he's the best power forward in the game. I really do. He's incredibly complete. They souped the heck out of this card badge-wise. I mean, he is incredible, and I am very, very excited to try out Chet and to get him on my own account. 200 blocks, and that's it, no matter what mode. As a lifetime agenda for this Chet Holmgren card is incredible. Everyone's going to get this card organically over time as they play this game. I think it's fire. Incredible reward. Huge W. Easy S tier. Chris Bosh goes B tier. Love the fact that Chris Bosh can still get every single badge. I think he's a very, very viable card. Honestly, probably even low A when it comes to these guys. I think he's actually really, really good. I'm a big fan of Chris Bosh, and I'll give him the A tier. I just think he's a little outdated at this point compared to the best of the best cards in the game. He's a season 1 card, but if you have him badged out especially, he's still really good at power forward or center. Damian Lillard is good enough offensively that he will get a B tier spot, but his complete lack of defensive badges holds this card back a lot. Would have really liked Dame to at least get a couple of solid defensive badges to make him a little more viable on that end, but the fact that he has no defense at all is pretty extraordinary, to be completely honest. Not a good thing, but pretty extraordinary. And it really holds this card back because offensively he's incredibly good and incredibly fun to use. I do think he's still B tier, and I will say that Dame grind and domination is still quite rewarding. I just don't think Dame himself is all that rewarding of a player reward. Doug Christie is good, 3 and D, legitimately good 3 and D, but he is the only Season 3 player reward from a mode who is worth using at all. And he doesn't give you a ton. He's a okay-ish ball handler, okay-ish slasher, okay-ish shooter with a pretty good release, and then a very good defender. He's an impactful defensive wing who is meh on offense. Not incredible offensively, but pretty good on offense. But he's the best by far of the Season 3 rewards, and he's the only Season 3 reward that I included on this list. We need the mode-specific rewards in Season 4, which is coming up here in a week and a half, to be better, because they've been unacceptable the last couple seasons. Hakeem obviously goes S tier. Incredible power forward or center, one of the very best cards in the game. Elite level grind. Hoping that the specialization grind will return next season. I personally will not be getting Hakeem on my account, and I likely won't get the specialization reward next season either, unless the gameplay is tweaked or it's an insane player. But I do think it's still a very good concept, rewarding to those who grind the game a lot. It may not be content for everyone. I understand there are a lot of people who are not even close to Hakeem and will never get him. I'm okay with that. It's a reward for a certain group of people who play this game a ton, but it's a great reward card. He's an absolute all-around card. Great release, incredible defender, super versatile. Really, only thing he doesn't do well is playmake. I think he's an awesome card, though. Jalen Suggs is awesome, and Jalen Suggs is even more awesome with his Evo. I would say as a Ruby, he probably goes... It's between B and A, but I think I go B because there are a bunch of good cards on this list that I still have to consider. I like Jalen Suggs, though. I really do, man, because, like, he can kind of defend okay-ish. He's got good size at PG at 6'5". Release is pretty good. He moves pretty well as well, and he's a good slasher. His duo makes him incredibly good, but even without the duo, he's a pretty good all-around card. He's got limitless range, good finisher, has the finishing badges, has the playmaking badges. Like, he's a pretty darn good card at the point guard position. Definitely an incredible free point guard option. Another really good free card is this Jared Allen, amazing budget center. I mean, he's got good speed. He's a great defender, half anchor, post lockdown, great dunker as well. Really, the only thing he doesn't do great is shoot the ball, but his release is actually decent. You put a three-point shoot on him, he's going to be a pretty solid shooter in my team. I like this Jared Allen card a lot. Was very impressed with him when I did gameplay with him, and I think he's another really good card who you can get for free. Jimmy Butler will go high A. The one thing, no, Jimmy will go S. He will, for sure. Even without being able to get every single badge, I do think Jimmy is probably one of the 5 best cards on this list. The free version of Jimmy can't get every badge, though, which is a disappointment, which means no limitless range and a couple other badges like that. But still a very capable shooter, great slasher, really good shot creator, and elite defender, obviously. One of the best shooting guards in the game, Jimmy Butler, S tier for sure. I don't think Joe Johnson is all that good. But honestly, as a card, he's as good as Dame, so I'm moving Dame to C tier. I don't care. Dame doesn't defend. He's going to C tier. Joe Johnson is B tier. Gets every single badge, is big, but like I'm not that high on the card, and we're about to come up to some better cards that are going to have to go higher on this list. I just don't think Joe Johnson's release is that great. His shot creation isn't that great. He's a good card, but he's not incredible. He was a little bit of a letdown as a gauntlet reward, but certainly not a bad option. KG goes... I'm actually putting KG in A tier. I think this is going to surprise some people, but I don't think he's a top 5 card in this list. Honestly, I would take Jimmy over KG, even the regular Jimmy, I think. So KG's release is a tiny bit baited, and he can't play make. I understand defensively he's awesome. He's very athletic. He's a really good all-around card. No doubt about it, but I don't think he's that insane. And when I'm putting only 5 guys in the S tier, I have to be pretty intentional about who I put S tier, and I don't think KG gets that 5th slot over a couple of these guys. Kevin Huerter is an elite shooter, which is the only reason I'm not putting him D tier, but I don't think he's he's D tier. He doesn't defend at all. He's a worse version of Dame. He can't play point guard. He's not a good card. He's definitely D tier. Also, Kyrie. Probably D tier as well, to be honest, at this point. Despite the shot creation ability offensively, he's very poor defensively, and he can't slash at a very high level at all because he can't dunk the ball. So all he does is shot create and shoot. That's really only 2 out of 4 areas on the court, and he's terrible on one half of the court entirely. I just don't think he's all that good of a card. I think C tier is fair. Lamar goes A simply because of the ability to get every badge. He is a very good gauntlet reward still. I think he's very solid at small forward or power forward, right at the borderline top 10 at both positions. I just think he's such a disappointing gauntlet reward because he was never a top 3 guy at either one of those positions. And the fact that the gauntlet reward for completing a 12-0 grind and unlimited, which is so hard to do and something very few players are actually capable of, is a card that is barely top 10 at both of their positions, that's a disappointment. Mark Rice is awful. He's another no defensive point guard who can't dunk, but he also can't shot create and shoot at the level that Kyrie can. He's probably the worst card on this list. This Mark Rice is terrible. I would recommend never using him. Patrick Ewing, he will get my 5th S tier spot. I know it's only 4th, but there's one other guy who's definitely above him. But I do think Ewing deserves a spot in the S tier. I legitimately am so high on this card. I think people sleep on him big time at the center position. I think he is as good as a Dikembe Mutombo, as good as a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Actually, I think he's better than Kareem. I think he's almost as good as D-Rob, almost as good as Wemby, almost as good as Chet. Like, I really am very high on this Patrick Ewing at the center position. I think he's a top 5 center in the game. I think he's very, very usable. Not just very, very usable. I think he's very, very elite. Awesome free card. Another awesome free card is RJ Barrett. I'm going to go A tier for him. I don't think he's quite as good as Jimmy, but I think he's really well-rounded, really good. Him and Ewing's duo, by the way, if you're able to get both of these cards, is an awesome duo, so that's a big dub as well. And both of those guys are awesome free cards from the holiday and New Year's event that is actually still ongoing, so you can still get Ewing and RJ Barrett if you'd like to over the next few days. SGA takes the final S-tier spot. He was the best point guard in the game for a very long time, and I actually think you could still make the argument that he is if you have one super badged up, because SGA is super complete, super good. When he's fully badged up, he's got an awesome release, great animations, really good, well-rounded stats and badges. I understand the stats on this card are not exceptional, but everything else on him really truly is. So he is a great, great card still. Shaq is a dominant inside big, can't shoot the ball at all, but I do think he is still very usable, just simply because of how big and strong he is. At least on the interior, he can be very usable. I would take Jared Allen over them, though. It's more of a shooting threat. I do believe that I would actually take Jared Allen over him. I think putting him C tier, even if it's top of C, is actually very fair, despite him being the big diesel and being able to get every badge and stuff, because he can't shoot, and you just can't use non-shooting centers at this point in the year. In my personal opinion, I would never use a non-shooting center anymore. Now, I think this Steve Francis card actually sucks. I haven't done gameplay with him yet, and I will soon. But he doesn't get the key defensive badges that he needs. He doesn't get clamps, doesn't get interceptor. That's a big problem. No limitless range, no agent 3, no blinders. no bulldozer. So he's missing a lot of key badges for a point guard. I understand the playmaking badges are awesome. SIGs are pretty good, but his release is very mediocre. And the defensive stats, while being pretty good, if you don't have the key defensive badges, really don't matter. Release isn't very good. Movement is fine, but not incredible. Steve Francis is good. His size up is elite, but it's hard to use the size up combo the way that it has been in previous years. I really think he's very mid, and I think C tier is very fair. Tari Eason is going to go higher up in B tier because I actually am very high on him as a 3 and D beast. All three of these guys at the top of B tier are really, really, really good budget / free cards. Tari Eason, 3 and D monster, defends really well, good size the 3, capable size the 4 as well, really nice release, defends well, athletic, good speed, really well-rounded card. And then finally, Wilt will go exactly where Shaq is. I think that is very, very fair as well. I think Wilt and Shaq are basically the same card. Wilt is a slightly better version of Shaq in my opinion, but neither of them can shoot the ball, and to me, that means neither of them are worth using anymore, in my opinion. I need my center to at least be able to hit a wide open 3, and neither of these guys are able to do that. So for me, they can't go higher than C tier, and that's the honest truth. This is my tier list. Let me know what y'all think of it in the description down below, or in the comments down below, I should say. I'm sure I'm going to get comments about putting guys like Jared Allen, Tari Eason, and Jalen Suggs, and Doug Christie in B tier while I put Wilt and Shaq in C, as well as 2 pink diamonds, but like, it's just my opinion, and I'd be interested to hear y'all's thoughts. So, like I said, that's going to do it for this one. If y'all did enjoy, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.